All right, y'all. Something big is happening with AI and it's scary. Let's get into this one. Don't forget to hit them hypes for your boy, man. Y'all helping me out a lot. We almost at 50K. I lied. We ain't almost at 50K. We at 41.
Everyone on the internet has been talking about this article. It's probably the scariest thing I've read about the future of AI, and I think everyone should read it. It takes 10 minutes to read, but I'm going to summarize it for you in a few minutes. And you should stick around for the whole thing because it might impact your life in a consequential way. So
Oh,
the author
damn.
starts with an example of back in February 2020 when, if you were paying attention, you might have noticed this virus spreading abroad. And everything was fine, life was normal, and most of us thought this virus thing was completely overblown. But it ended up only a few months later when COVID completely took over the world. Now, he makes the same comparison to what AI is doing to us today, and he's really sounding the alarm bells. And if you look everywhere, the smartest technical people in Silicon Valley are leaving their jobs at AI research labs because of what's happening. So basically, what's been happening is that for years, AI has been gradually but slowly improving. And you get the occasional bump, but for most part, it's pretty linear. But something happened in 2025 when these new techniques of building models just came out and changed everything. And I'm not super technical, so I can't really explain them, but it really accelerated the pace of AI. And so we started to see a wider and wider margin in AI models getting better and better, and the time between each release getting shorter and shorter. You might have noticed this too. Suddenly on February 5th, so about a week ago, suddenly out of nowhere, two of the leading AI research labs released their two models, GPT 5.3 Codex and Opus 4.6. After these models were released, I saw a bunch of posts from engineers saying that they were no longer needed for the technical parts of their job. They don't code anymore, and apparently all they do is describe in plain English what they want built, and it just appears like magic. I've tried
Damn.
this myself. I've used tools like Lovable to describe exactly the product I want to build, and it just appears. It's kind of crazy. And the crazy thing about this new model, GPT 5.3 Codex, is that it doesn't just execute on your behalf. It can actually make intelligent decisions. So it's got judgment, it's got taste, it's got all these things that were previously lacking. Now, most people are
Yeah, a lot of people think that AI is like judging and has taste and all of that kind of stuff and decision making. It really don't. It's just working with a huge a data set of things that they can compare and contrast and make a logical decision. But it ain't thinking in the sense of how people are critically thinking, like weighing options. Like, all right, if I do this, then it doesn't have the capability to overthink like a human could. Like, if you decided to, all right, man, you know what? I'm gonna call off the day. There's a million reasons why you could think of it being a bad idea to call off. AI doesn't necessarily have that capability at the moment. It can just compare and contrast to situations like that it knows about. You can create new shit in your mind, things that don't even exist to be afraid of as it relates to calling off of work. ChatGPT can't do that right now.
saying, I've tried AI before, it wasn't that good. And that used to be true. If you tried ChatGPT back in 2023 or 2024, it might have hallucinated or given you these very robotic sounding paragraphs if you're writing. But that was 2 years ago. And in AI time, that is ancient history. Now, the AI models today look nothing like they did 2 years ago, especially if you're not paying for it. If you're on the free tier, you're not getting anything close to the top performing AI models.
I pay for it.
Here's another anecdote of how fast AI is moving. In 2022, AI couldn't even solve math problems. So like 5 times 8, couldn't do it. In 2023, AI could pass the bar exam. Now in 2024, it could write software and do graduate level science. Now in late 2025, most engineers have now handed off most of their work to AI. Now, there's one more thing that's happened that you need to understand.
Now, if the engineers then handed off their work to AI, it's only a matter of time before the AI take the work from the engineers and they don't have a job no more.
A week ago, when OpenAI released their new model, GPT 5.3 Codex, they included this in their technical documentation. If you read it through, you'll see that what they're saying is that the AI built itself. So everything I'm saying so far, and everything the author said, is not a prediction on what's going to happen. It is already happening on the fringes of Silicon Valley. Now, you might be asking, what does this mean for me? How does this impact me at all? Well, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, is predicting that in 1 to 5 years, 50% of white-collar jobs are going to be automated. And he's a pretty conservative guy compared to the other people. And the first jobs to go are legal work, financial analysis, writing, content, customer service, software engineering. We're already seeing these starting to happen. And again, this is not a prediction. It is already happening. It is just a matter of time. Now, I write a lot about how to future-proof your career and what you should do to prepare for the next 3 to 5 years. I'll share some tips in the next video. If this helped at all, you should follow along to learn more.
That's absolutely scary, y'all. Shit. But we already knew this was going to happen, man. ChatGPT is too capable for you to be out here thinking that your job is safe when you're just passing emails back and forth, when you're doing things in front of a computer that are not that hard to do. If I can train someone to do your job by tomorrow, it ain't safe for ChatGPT to do it. I mean, you think that ChatGPT or Perplexity or one of these other AI models can't take your job. It's just a matter of time before your boss catches up. A lot of people ain't got fired yet because their boss isn't that damn savvy. You know, you working for the mom and pop store. Yeah, they don't know no better. But these large corporations, they got their fingertips on the pulse of the AI network right now. And guess what? They are already salivating at the mouth, thinking about how much money they can save by replacing people with AI.
This X article posted yesterday has 57 million views, and it's a wake-up call about how the world as we know it is changing. It was written by an AI startup CEO who says that this is his honest answer to his friends and family who keep asking him, what's the deal with AI? Because in his words, the honest version sounds like I've lost my mind.
Quick side note, at least once a day, I get a comment or an email asking, how do I do this YouTube thing? How do I make reaction videos? If you're interested in making money on YouTube and not just arguing in the comment sections, I run a private YouTube growth group. We do weekly calls, live channel audits, and you get to see how other creators are making money. Plus how I got this channel to where it's at 37,000 today when it only had 3,000 in October, and how I plan on making this channel go to 100K before the end of the year. Link in the description.
This isn't any random AI is coming for your jobs, we're all doomed view. This is a deeply technical CEO who says that he is no longer needed for the actual technical work of his job. He now describes what he wants built in plain English, walks away from his computer for hours, and comes back to the finished product. He is specifically talking to people, maybe you included, who used ChatGPT once and said, I tried AI and it wasn't that good. And he's not talking about ChatGPT. He's talking about AI agents that can control your browser, open multiple apps, and do the work for you. He writes, in 2022, AI couldn't do basic arithmetic. It would tell you 7 times 8 equals 54. But by 2023, it could pass the bar exam. By 2024, it could write working software. By late 2025, some of the best engineers in the world hand over most of their coding work to AI. And this month, new models have dropped that made everything before them feel like a different era. This is happening in tech first, but he lists out more industries where this is going to happen. Law, finance, consulting, customer service, writing, anything you do on a computer. Not in 10 years, in 1 to 5. The CEO of Anthropic has said that 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs will be gone within 1 to 5 years. But don't panic, he's not a doomer and I'm not either. There are 5 very specific things I would start doing today. Number 1, start actually using AI. If you are on the free version of ChatGPT, you are behind. It's like how only your mom and grandma use Facebook now. Pay for Claude. Download Claude Code and learn how to use Claude skills. Don't just ask it questions you can Google, push it into your actual work. Give it a spreadsheet, a doc. Go vibe code something. He says that if something even kind of works today, in 6 months, AI will do it nearly perfectly. Spend 1 hour a day doing this. That's how you become the person operating the AI instead of the person being replaced by it. If you do this for 6 months, you'll understand what's coming better than 99% of the people around you because the bar is on the floor. Number 2, invest in relationships. AI cannot do things like build trust over years, connect people, read a room. Roles like sales, chief of staff, customer success, parts of product management and marketing, the work that requires you to actually be a human talking to other humans. Number 3, Get your finances in order. If you believe even a little bit that the next few years could bring real disruption to your industry, basic financial resilience matters more than ever. Build up savings. Don't take on new debt that assumes your current income is guaranteed. Give yourself options if things move faster than you expect. Number 4, start building something for yourself. Not saying to quit your job tomorrow, but if you have a window right now where you still have income and stability, use it. Number 5, build a personal brand. If jobs are disappearing, especially entry-level ones in finance, consulting, whatever, then analyst at X firm stops being an identity. Your job title is not going to be the thing that carries you. Being known for something, having a point of view, building an audience will. Taking a step back, you might think I'm crazy, but I actually think this is good news for a lot of us. If you've been sitting in a job you've optimized your whole life for, but you kind of hate it because you're just at the email factory pushing buttons all day, that job is not going to exist in a few years. The thing that's keeping you trapped is going away whether you want.
This is what I'm talking about when I say the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. Matt Schumer is a CEO of an AI company and is basically talking about the idea that AI is already starting to radically change the way that his company and the engineers at his company work. He draws this comparison between the early days of COVID and where we are now with AI. How for some people, they were starting to see signs, their lives are already changing, they were already having to make adjustments, and there were a lot of other people who were kind of blissfully unaware of what was going on. I think this is hard for some people to get because engineers are using AI tools that have been built for their exact needs and use cases. And so they're seeing kind of what happens when you're able to build an AI tool that is specifically for the job that you're trying to apply it to. And so I think that's why a lot of people, when they use ChatGPT at work, are pretty unimpressed. And that's just simply because you're probably yet using an AI tool that has not been built to do your job. But once one is being built to do your job, it is very likely to be able to do the same tasks that you do today and potentially better. And I think the fear here is that there's a lot of people who are kind of living in the future, living on the edge of these technologies and are already learning to how to use them and adapt them. And then there's a lot of people who are kind of convincing themselves and telling themselves that it's not going to affect them and it's not going to affect their job. It seems very unlikely if you have a white collar job that AI will not affect it. It's really important that you start to think about how you can learn more about these tools to your advantage and start thinking about the different ways that it might affect you in your life. If you're interested in learning more about the human and user side of AI, you should follow for more.
Bro, you know how delusional you have to be to know how smart and capable AI is and to think your job is safe and that it's impossible for you to lose it. Are you crazy? I would, at the very minimum, you should just have a healthy dose of fear. Just like, it is a possibility. Let me make sure all of my ducks are in a row. But for you to have no inkling of fear for you to lose your job because of AI, that's just crazy, bro. I ain't gonna hold
Anthropic
you.
has pushed out a new update to Claude every other week in 2026, and each update disrupts another industry. First, they came out with Opus 4.6, which is by far the most capable model to date, and almost immediately stock prices for SaaS companies took a nosedive as people realized what it was capable of. Shortly after that, they came out with new Claude Cowork plugins that are specialized in doing the work of attorneys and financial analysts. And even those of us that have been paying close attention to this were immediately caught off guard by how close these models are to replacing human professionals. And then just this last week, they came out with a cybersecurity tool inside of Claude Code that's far more capable than any cybersecurity software available today. It will scan your entire code base and find vulnerabilities that it used to take teams of humans to find. So how is Anthropic able to keep this pace? How are they able to put out industry-disrupting tools every other week? Well, they're using their own tools. Claude Cowork was made with Claude Code in 10 days. The better these tools get, the faster Anthropic and every tech company for that matter will be able to move. AI progress is not slowing down, it's speeding up. And if that sounds like hype to you, I think it's a pretty safe bet that you haven't spent time with Opus 4.6 yet.
Jesus Christ, bro. That is crazy. Opus 4.6 is pretty awesome. This is so sad. All the jobs about to be lost. Who takes the blame when the work produced is imperfect? If the skilled employee is removed and some senior leader is just feeding the AI request, do you really think they'll take the blame? Employees will be kept around just to take the fall because corporate leaders never accept blame. That's crazy. Claude is slowly becoming my go-to instead of ChatGPT, but it consumes credits like crazy. Yeah, this is crazy work. Yeah, guys. Well, you get the gist of what's going on. Protect your livelihoods, man, the best you can, all right? Because I ain't no telling what we're going to be at in a year from now, man. Shit going to be looking real crazy out here. They might replace YouTubers, too. Ain't nobody safe. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hype the video. I'm going to get at y'all on the next one.